Oh yeah. So am roughly I'll turn 40 this year. I'm a 40-year-old man that has had a congenitive neuromuscular disease, spinal muscular atrophy since birth. I've lived in Madison for the past roughly 16 years now, and prior to that, I grew up around the Stevens Point area in Wisconsin here. For work, I am a software developer for Dane County. For fun and in my spare time, I like to do a blend of getting out for walks, getting out into nature, doing some reading. I really enjoy fantasy, science fiction. I dabble in doing some writing. I enjoy video games quite a bit and also enjoy getting together with friends and acquaintances for Dungeons and Dragons sessions. Yeah, so some of the activities I participate in are a blend of various boards, commissions, and recreational activities. I currently serve on the City of Madison's Disability Rights Commission, the City of Madison's Martin Luther King Jr. Award Commission. I also, for recreational activities, go and participate with some local writing workshops, some get-togethers of friends or gaming groups to play some Dungeons and Dragons. And um, Previously, I used to be the webmaster of a local anime, gaming, and science fiction convention all rolled into one, GeekCon. It went defunct a few years back, but it was a fun time while it lasted, and was just great, yeah, to make acquaintances, meet new folks, and all have some fun together. Yeah, so my disability is spinal muscular atrophy. It's classified as somewhere between type 2 and type 3. The clarification of that is just onset and severity. Like, I mean, the onset, my disability was identified at roughly 18 months when normally it would be expected that infants would start walking and take their first steps. I would fall down backwards all the time, hit my head, and then my parents, grew concerned, about those symptoms and so on, and sought professional consultation on it. So, per my disability, I've not been able to walk independently ever in my life, really, and have primarily used a wheelchair since early grade school. Like for short distances, I could get around with a walker, like say from like kindergarten through roughly fourth grade. But after that, the distance grew shorter and shorter as this is a progressive disease, and I would have to use a wheelchair for distances, say, longer than like 10 or 20 feet. And by sixth grade, I was using a power wheelchair. Yeah, so as somebody born with a lifelong disability, like there were differences, I mean, that though my family was accepting, accommodating, my cousins were accommodating, they would change their way of play to accommodate me and my younger brother, who both had the condition, that there still were some challenges, especially outside of the home, like in our school environment, of as much as classmates would try to include us or that, there were many times where there were separations, barriers, even things like just say playing in gym where, you know, physically focused games, like let's even use kickball, it was hard to, in their current format, adapt it, to something that I could participate in or my brother could. Various events where, like, even, like in grade school, that they would have kids either like in the bleachers doing sing-alongs or posing for a photo, but we were often off to the side and a little further back, just because of the physical setup of the situation. And this was in the early 90s, so integration, like through the Americans with Disabilities Act, and that was so brand new that folks were, like struggling and experimenting with ways to try to fully accomplish it, and that's where I've come to value, these lessons from youth and the discussion, the ongoing discussions of greater inclusivity, greater equity, and greater education, just to help youth at present and help individuals at present, really come together and just bring their unique perspectives and unique personalities to the table. So relative to caregiving, I have roughly, let's see, 4 key visits during the day that have to help me with pretty well everything, as I'm not really able to move my arms much on my own. So everything from bathing, dressing, toileting, to prepping food. So I have each of the main meals and getting out of bed are necessary cares. I have late night caregivers that come over to help me turn over because I'm unable to do that on my own, and help me reposition and even use the restroom late at night. So all in all, I have roughly 6 or 8 visits a day from home health caregivers stopping in. And the number of staff I have available to cover those shifts, has been dwindling. It has gone from, like, I used to have 6 or 7 staff in rotation to now it's down to 3. Yeah, notably the crisis has really fanned the flames, on some of the challenges and problems. I've had entire non-essential shifts. I clarify non-essential as like shifts where I need to get out of bed or use the restroom are essential, but shifts where I just need to get food or water, I clarify as technically not essential. They're not time pivotal, and I have partial ways I can work around, even though in the long term, it is not a great idea and it does jeopardize other complications. Well, I would like to share with people that, like whether myself or many of my peers, and acquaintances, with similar situations and that, that yeah, we're just really fun to connect with, as individuals and such. I mean, I like to share, of all my friends, even my friends without any major disabilities or that, that really at the end of the day, we all just want to hang out, have a good time together, and, connect. That's where I really enjoyed some of those activities I mentioned, that like the convention I used to work at, the Dungeons and Dragons, and I hope everybody finds their own little niche, like of people that just enjoy having you there, and that it's such a wide and wonderful world that it's just fun to share these educational experiences and share a little slice of life, that everybody brings to the table, so in telling my story, I see it not as about me per se, but just opening up the narrative to reach out to more folks, try new things, and feel free that when you see, some individuals out in public with disabilities, that many of us are eager to chat, eager to connect, and have, many wonderful things to offer, just same as everyone else, that all of our stories together, I believe, weave a wonderful tapestry. So, yeah, while I am married in a sense of that I have a lifelong partner and that, we're married by all practical purposes, we're not legally married, we're not married on paper because of Medicaid, which is the only available funding source to pay for home health care, as private insurance will not pay for it, Medicare will not pay for it. And the cost of home health care is often to the tune of 30 some to 40 some dollars per care hour, making it very unfeasible, for folks to pay for out of pocket. So to retain my Medicaid status, I have to stay legally non-married to my wife. And I also have to maintain income that is below a certain threshold and accomplish all sorts of other financial barriers. There's limitations on how much I can have in financial assets and cash and accounts. Even long term, there can be complications that if and when I retire, that even my retirement could threaten my Medicaid eligibility. And it's a huge struggle for so many of us. In fact, intriguing window of working with Dane County, as I've talked with Dane County Human Services case managers that have worked with clients and even former employees that would develop a condition later in life, conditions akin to multiple sclerosis or ALS, and would suddenly need round-the-clock care, similar to my situation, but would suddenly hit that wall of discovering that to pay for it, they would have to divorce their spouse, bequeath their entire retirement to their spouse to eliminate it from their financial profile, and just absolve themselves of all their assets, just to qualify for the cares they need to live. And I mean, it's truly a tragic thing. I mean, this is a story I've known my entire adult life, just because my condition is a lifelong one. But it's truly tragic that so many of us just hit this barrier, and just to live our daily life, just have to sacrifice so much. So these days, looking forward to the warming weather as we get into late April, early May, get back outdoors, go see some nearby walkable trails, and yeah, really enjoy around Madison. There's some great paths in the Arboretum, great paths on Lake Mendota that are wheelchair friendly, bike friendly, and yeah, Madison is just a fun and thrilling place in the summer. Even enjoy getting out to some of the festivals, some of the outdoor streeteries. In fact, actually, the Disability Rights Commission has some fun, supportive discussions of working with the streeteries, to better include accessibility and flow, both for pedestrians, wheelchairs, bicyclists, so yeah, summer is just a great and fun time to be out in Madison, where we can be inclusive of everyone and really come together, work together, and just have some fun, have some good food and good times. Maybe I'll just add a fun note that I've enjoyed video gaming since youth, and really enjoy, reading and consulting with my peers, that are into accessible gaming, disabled gaming, and it's really fun and fascinating subject for me as somebody that both enjoys literature, music, and is a computer programmer. That video games being a union of those elements has always fascinated me, even since youth. Even for a funny note, I actually worked for 6 months at Raven Software as a video game tester, and it was a blast. It was a great time, great folks to work with. Just a 6-month temp gig, but fun while it lasted.